Dolls, written by Jacqueline Susann, is a story about three young girls who live in New York City around the 50s. There's Ann Wells, known for her beauty, Neely O'Hara for her voice, and Jennifer North for her body. All three of them with careers that bring them into the pressuring world of fame, which led them to taking pills, whether it was for sleeping, getting thin, or because they were depressed. Although their life mainly consisted of those dolls, as they called it, so are things like minks, money, love, fame, booze, and career. The story starts out with Anne, who comes from a small town called Lawrenceville in New Jersey, who comes to New York City for hopes of a new and exciting lifestyle. She gets a job as a secretary for a big Broadway agency and falls in love with a coworker, Lion Burke. Unfortunately, the relationship doesn't work out because Lion had a bigger passion for writing, so he goes to England and leaves her. Because of her exquisite beauty, she later indulges in a career in the cosmetic department of the commercial world, at the same time waiting for Lion to come back. He ends up coming back, but the relationship wasn't the same. Ann Wells took pills because she was depressed. Then there's Neely O'Hara, who started out as an innocent sweet girl with an amazing voice that landed her in big films and shows. As soon as she got deeper into fame, she forced herself to be as thin as she could be, and Neely herself became a whole new person. She wasn't so sweet anymore. All she cared about were those red dolls that kept her thin and the booze to wash it down. Her first husband Mel gave up on her, and so did her second husband Ted, because of her bitter attitude and addiction on those red dolls. Her husbands weren't the only ones that left her. Film agencies couldn't take her. Her fans started to look down on her, but she continued to take them anyway. Jennifer North not only is so attractive, but her body was the key to her career of doing adult films in Paris. She did fall in love with the Tony Poehler, but later realized that he actually had severe mental problems. Tony ended up as an inpatient at a hospital to take care of his illness, where Jennifer could hardly ever see him again. Jennifer struggled so much and she wasn't happy with her life at all. Her only love will probably never remember her again. She had to get an abortion, and she sure wasn't happy with her career. The only purpose for taking those dolls was to fall asleep easily because of her bad case of insomnia. But in the end, you can only guess what she did with them. This book might sound like the typical story about girls who aren't happy and they take pills to satisfy themselves, but there's more to it than that. You're just gonna have to read it, especially if you want to find out what happened to the girls in the end.
Tell me, when will I know? How will I know?